Salisbury, it's a beautiful city. The thing that sticks out above the skyline is always the spire. And what we got is something which goes back much, much further, right back into the dim, distant geological time, because people have been living in this area for 300,000 years. What we see now is these beautiful rolling chalk downlands, and in the bottom, the modern river systems. But 300,000 years ago, it was a totally different world. But we do have stone tools. Concentrated area of those is on Milford Hill, that these stone axe heads are actually found in gravel that were laid down by a river. And everybody knows that water does not flow at the top of a hill, it flows at the bottom of the hill. And so after about 10,000 years ago, people would have been moving in and out, up and down the Avon Valley. And we know they were here because, yes, we've got yet more stone tools. Stone tools were found in the Churchfield Industrial Estate. We've got them near Petersfinger. We've got them actually not very far away from the city centre itself in Fisherton Street. Just these little glimpses to show that people were here long before Salisbury ever existed. You've only got to go up to Stonehenge and the Salisbury Plain. There's barrows, burial mounds all over the place. People have been living around Salisbury for thousands and thousands of years. Most people think that archaeologists dig up the dirt and throw it on the spoil tip. Not nowadays, we don't. We bring large amounts of it back here to Wessex. Oh, sorry to interrupt. So where's this little lot from then?
This is from Coles Hill, which is an HS2 site.
And what are you hoping to find?
We're looking for any environmental evidence. So this is the thing that we're most interested in, but we'll look for anything that's left behind.
Of course, this is the sort of information that we don't find when we're digging.
Absolutely no, because you only find it when you've cleaned it and looked at it under the microscope. But it might only be small stuff, but it really helps to fill in the gaps in the story of the site, and you can see what people were eating and how they were disposing of their food waste. And of course, this stuff has been preserved for thousands of years.
The first really big, obvious monuments got to be Old Sarum, an Iron Age hill fort. Massive display of strength and wealth and power. Think what happens when the Romans arrived here, when the Normans arrived here. By the time the Romans went, the Saxons then moved in. There are a number of Saxon burial grounds noted from around the area. He could be one of the first Saxon occupants of the Avon Valley, really. A bloke or a lady?
In this case, we're pretty sure he's male.
Right.
So yes, it's definitely a bloke.
So he's been buried. He obviously had a shield, because we've still got the shield boss there and a few bits of metal that were on there. And there's the spearhead. So in that position, it suggests that the spear was complete when it went in.
Pretty chronic injuries, in fact. If you look at these two shoulder blades, the scapula,
Right.
you see the vast difference between the two.
But still, Salisbury was not there. And that happens in the 1220s when the new city was formed. So, by the early 1200s, the cathedral at Old Sarum had effectively outlived its usefulness. There were a list of reasons why the bishop was keen to move. It was windswept, the garrison were being a problem. So, he decided to move the cathedral down there. A perfect spot, made even better by the fact that he already owned the land. In the early 1220s, work began on the construction of the cathedral behind me. But there was no bells in the cathedral. The weight of those individual bells was too great for the tower. So they constructed a separate bell tower here. For the next 500 years, the bells chimed out with a clock to tell the time.
Yeah, this is the Salisbury Cathedral bell tower, so it doesn't exist anymore, but we've been looking at old paintings and etchings to try and reconstruct it as it was.
That building was totally destroyed. You would never be allowed to knock a building like that down now, irrespective of what it was being used for. And then as the city grew, you began to get a planned city laid out on its familiar checkerboard pattern. The point is that we can reconstruct the development of Salisbury. What we're missing is a lot of the parts which have been knocked down. That is when archaeology starts to fill in the gaps. Behind me is a very familiar building, St Thomas's Church, but what is not so familiar is the fact that at the moment there are no pews inside. This major renovation work going on. But for an archaeologist like me, this is a God-given opportunity to find out whether or not there's anything earlier than the church underneath. And how are we going to do that? Geophysics. So finally, this is the great day. I feel that we are really contributing to the history, not only of this church, but of the city. And when we've actually got the survey completed and got all the data downloaded and analysed, hopefully we will find the foundations of the earlier church on this site.
So what we have here is the radar data, and it's presented, so it's going to look at, this is the floor surface, and then we're going to go down in depth. So if I start scrolling down, you'll notice that these are the lines of the tombstones that are through the church.
Yes.
Yeah, these are the positions of the existing columns, and then if we keep going down, there's a specific depth which I find particularly interesting, which is about there. What we have here is what looks like stone pads forming a right angle at the corner of the building perhaps, which maybe wooden beams might have sat on for an earlier building.
Yes.
So what we're able to do now is to actually use archaeology as a bigger contributor in telling the story of Salisbury. That one of the things that Salisbury was very famous for were these water courses through the middles of the streets. So here I am standing in the market square, the economic hub of the medieval city. And to get here, people would have had to bring in their livestock. This network of water channels was incredibly sophisticated, flushing water down through the streets of Salisbury. But for every advantage, there were disadvantages. How on earth are you going to get across them? They're going to need bridges. We've also got some superb early medieval buildings dating from the 14th century. That archaeology helps to build up the picture of what has happened in Salisbury, the evidence that we've lost. And believe me, the evidence has seriously been lost over the years. And so in a lot of cases, the archaeologists are trying to drag out and tease out these little threads of surviving information to tell the story. You take that bit of evidence, you interpret it, and from there you paint a picture. And for me, that painted a wonderful picture of what life must have been like in Salisbury.